man, looking at those intro pictures, I thought I was I thought I was heavy then. That's the funny part about it. I'm looking at the picture now. I wish I was that skinny.
Oh, I hear you.
I know we were doing our fitness thing for a little while, but I don't know about you, but I kind of definitely fell off the wagon there. But
I've been, you know what, Tony? I've been going at it hard, okay, for the past week and a half. I'm not going to try to, just for the past week and a half since I got back from vacation, I've been going really steady at
good.
it.
That's great.
You know,
That's great.
I'm going to tell you though, shit hurts.
I mean, I know we've talked about this before, and we said exactly why. Like guys like Sly and Arnold went on. Their job is to look good. They have the time in the day where they can devote to that. They're not working a 40-hour job or whatever. But it's still, I mean, I know it sounds like excuses and all, but yeah, I get it, man. It hurts. Like I was starting to train for the Rocky Run, which is the end of November.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, I'm 8 weeks out. Let me start training for it. It's only, 3.1 miles.
Yeah.
So I started my first 3.1 mile the other day. I did a horrible time. It took me almost an hour.
But let me stop you there, though. You know what, though? You finished.
Exactly.
You finished.
But based on what you were saying, though, man, what was I hurting? My legs. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. My legs were throbbing.
I know. Dude, I went to a chiropractor the other day, and I'm still sore.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
You hit me with a sledgehammer for crying out loud?
I mean, I've always been told, by numerous people, variety of ages, every decade your body changes. You get, different things and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm 57, so closing in on coming up to 60 in the next 3 years, which is when the 50th anniversary of Rocky. But I don't know, man. It's like I feel like I hurt more and more.
Yeah.
Or let me rephrase that. Not that I hurt more and more. I feel like it takes me longer to recover.
Yeah, it seems like the ache lasts longer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a longer recovery.
I'm going through more Advil than ever. So I'm like chasing M&Ms with Advil, right?
I'm telling you.
So like I've been doing cardio, running like 2 miles, and I do like because I've just gotten back into it. I do like a 1 minute fast walk at like 3 miles an hour.
Okay.
And then I do a minute at 4 miles an hour.
Okay.
Now
so you do it on the treadmill.
I do it on the treadmill.
Okay.
So now I remember it wasn't too awful long ago where I was running on the treadmill. I would do a 5, I would do a 6, I would do a 7, I would do a 10 when I was,
Wow.
Now it's like,
well, I know way back when I was doing some 5Ks, my times were definitely faster and better.
Yeah.
And I do them outside. Obviously my weather's a little different than yours.
Yeah. Notice this.
Yeah, exactly. T-shirt.
Send heat. Send heat, Tony. I'm freezing my ass off up here.
But I don't jog I do the speed walking and then I'll jog like 10 yards. And then I'll speed walk and then I slow down walk and then I speed walk and then I jog 10 yards. So I'm all over the board. I can only do what I can handle. I do not I don't jog the entire 5K.
Right.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Right.
I haven't done that in a long time.
And then on the odd days on my, there's the cardio day and then there's the weightlifting day. And I'm finding that like my elbows are just, I got more freaking straps and braces. I look like I'm going into war. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how can I pick this up?
Funny.
My arms are stuck straight because of all these braces. It's funny, But hey, we're still trying, right? We're still.
That's right. Wind up needing a mash unit in the gym.
Right, Hawkeye.
Speaking of Hawkeye,
yes. Oh, Tony the Segway.
Now, was he your favorite? Was he your favorite on the show?
He was.
He was everybody's favorite.
I think
he was
so.
everybody.
I mean, then again, Colonel Potter, how could you not have a soft spot for Colonel Potter,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, well, I mean, Klinger, Potter,
Oh, every
they
one
were
of
all
them.
they were yeah, they were. That was one of the best shows on TV for
Yeah.
10 years, a
That
long time.
show lasted longer than the actual Korean conflict lasted,
Yeah, crazy,
you know,
crazy.
actually
Yeah,
than
that's
the
that was
actual.
I mean, a lot of the legendary shows lasted almost 10 years, or some were 11, some were like, you know, 11.5, some were 10.5, but it was like that 10-year mark is most of them. I mean, Seinfeld did it, Cheers did it, Happy Days did it, MASH, Magnum PI did it. I mean, then there's some that they go a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
then there's others that make a huge impact. I mean, this is going way back when, so a lot of anybody that's under the age of us is not even going to know the show. But you look at the Honeymooners, and it
Oh,
was only
yeah.
2 years.
Right,
It was like 52 episodes or whatever the heck it was. It wasn't. It was
right.
almost nothing.
And it's still going strong today.
It's still. Oh my god, it's still. But that was that show.
To the moon.
I mean, it's very dated. It's very dated. So
Right.
you're going to hear, things being said, and how can he talk to her like that? That's his wife, and but it's very dated, but it's funny as anything, and it just perfect comedic timing by all of them. Uh,
And Jackie Gleason, I mean, he just a legend.
oh yeah,
Just a
yeah,
legend, you
yeah.
know? I remember
Such a good.
seeing him in a movie with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, the toy.
no,
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 no, no, no, no, no, no. The toy. That was he
Nothing
was
in
in that with
Common.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Nothing in Common,
Nothing in
where
common was what, yeah, where he was a son
Jackie.
and he had the foot,
Yeah,
the
yep, yep.
diabetes. Yeah,
I mean, he's just brilliant,
he
brilliant
is.
actor, amazing,
He
you know.
is.
But back to Hawkeye and BJ and Hot Lips. Um, do you remember hearing this after? Did you watch the finale?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
I mean, did everyone in America watch
Yeah, pretty
the
much.
finale?
That was
So,
back when where you had to watch it. You didn't have a choice. You
right.
missed it.
And I remember them reporting, like, on the news the next night, stating that during the first commercial break, water consumption was at its highest peak ever because everybody ran to the bathroom at the same time.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
You
this
know?
is going back. I mean, the guys, this is TV when there was no streaming, obviously. There
No,
was no internet. There was no YouTube. I mean, so it was long, long before all of that came around. So yeah, you missed your TV show.
you're SOL.
You're out. There was
Yep.
no. I'll see it next week. I'll watch, especially something that current. You couldn't watch a rerun of that for
Mm-mm.
God knows how long.
Oh, remember you had to wait for it to go to syndication, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
I
so
mean,
many
so
years you had to
so
wait.
yeah. If you missed your show,
Yeah,
no, no, no bueno.
unless you
But
had a
yeah, of
VCR.
course I watched it. Everybody watched it. It was the where we got there. That was of course the very end of
Goodbye,
it.
farewell, and amen.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
that
that
was one of
show,
my.
it was such a good cast, good stories. I mean, you wouldn't think it'd be funny based around a mash unit in a Korean War, but it had some serious tones. It had
Sure did.
some things here and there that it discussed that were serious. Um, but obviously, I don't know if anybody, or I don't know if a lot of people know, it was based off of the movie, which was done before that. Donald Sutherland
Yes.
and oh my goodness, I could see him now, the curly haired guy, Donald
Oh,
Sutherland.
yeah, yeah.
He
Um,
was oh man, why
Trapper
can't I think of
John.
his name? What's
Trapper
that?
John was it Trapper John, right?
Yeah, but what's the actor's name? I
Oh,
can't think of the actor's name. And then
yeah.
Hot Lips was Susan. What was her name? Susan. Oh man, we do this all the time
Oh, I thought that was still Loretta Swit. No.
in the film.
Yeah, no, it
No,
wasn't.
it was Kellerman. I think it was. Let me look it up. Hold on.
Color. Oh, color. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Kellerman. Yeah, Sally Kellerman.
Sally Kellerman, yeah.
She was in the film, but I can't think of the. I could see him. Why can't I think of the? I could see his face. He was in Ocean's 11 and 12 and whatnot.
Mm.
Elliot Gould. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was Trapper John. Yeah, and Donald Sutherland was Hawkeye. And
Right.
oddly enough, Radar, Gary Berghoff, was Radar in the film.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then he was Radar in the show for 10 years. So, but yeah, and that show was on late too, because I remember when I heard the music on, I was like, I wasn't really supposed to be up. So,
Right.
I mean, later on, I was older. Obviously, it was different. But I remember in the beginning,
Right.
you hear that famous theme song.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
yeah,
dun.
yep.
Yep.
You
There
hear
was,
that?
I mean, I loved watching MASH. You know, we were younger, so a lot of the adult humor. There it is.
Yep. Remember the helicopters are coming over the
Yep.
mountain?
And who didn't have a MASH shirt, right? Who didn't have one?
with the red cross on it, and
Yeah,
4077.
that's right.
Yeah,
Oh God, yeah, that was such a great
great show.
show. You
I
know,
mean, shows
and
last for that long for a reason. You know, they're well written, they're well acted, they tell good stories. Uh, I mean, it's that they hang around for a long time for a reason.
right. And you and I actually got on this topic a couple weeks ago because we were talking about things that just make you laugh, you know, and to talk about being something on very late and being young, I will never forget the next one, which was the Carol Burnett show. How many
Oh, Carol
remember the
Burnett show.
Carol Burnett show?
That's
You
going
know,
back. That's going back to. I mean, I remember when I was watching. Those were really pretty much my parents were watching them. I wasn't watching them because I chose to. They were on, but between the Carol Burnett show or the Dean Martin Variety Hour and they just. I mean, the Carol Burnett show.
oh my,
This year, they just there's Vicki Lawrence, Carol Burnett's in the middle there with her hand by her face, Tim Conway for those of you that don't know, and there was Harvey Korman. Um, I don't think they ever did a show without laughing. I've never seen it. I mean,
no,
they always
no,
just broke each other up and made each other laugh, and sometimes not they couldn't talk. They couldn't even finish the skit.
right, right. I got to tell you this. So I know I told you this, but I'll tell everybody this. So one of my most favorite shows was or episode um was this Carol Burnett episode. Now I was probably 12, 13 years old, maybe at the time. I'm not even positive, but I'm up in my bedroom. I know I was in school. I mean, I was young, and I had a little 13-inch black and white TV on my desk. And it's well past midnight, and I'm watching the Carol Burnett show. Now, anybody who knows Tim Conway
Oh,
and his acting comedic chops, this guy here. Now, that picture you showed of the Siamese elephants connected at the trunk. If you have not seen this episode, you have got to YouTube it.
no,
I'm
go yeah,
telling
just
you,
go to YouTube, put in Carol Burnett, Tim
Siamese
Conway,
elephants.
Siamese elephants.
I
It's the first thing he says, and that's it. She doesn't stop laughing.
No, I know. And
She
and
keeps
they
her
were
hand
and I
like
think
this like the
Dick
whole
Van
time.
Dyke was in that one. Dick Van Dyke was in that
He was in that one?
episode.
Oh, was he?
I think so. Because they were when he did the they all hit the floor. They were laughing so damn hard. They were crying. They were on the floor crying. Dick Van Dyke fell off the couch. I mean, and I remember laying in my bed. I was laughing so hard. I was crying. I was laughing. And to this day, if I watch that, and there's only maybe a couple other ones, and we'll mention that make me laugh that hard. And it's humor that is like it's not foul. It's not,
Yeah.
it's just Tim Conway. Do you remember him in the Apple Dumpling Gang with
Oh,
him
yeah.
and Don Knotts?
Uh-huh.
The man's a genius.
No, he
He
was.
is a genius.
He was like I said, and he had a straight face. He was
Yeah,
not laughing or you know giving making goofy. He was just kept going about it. And the others and once one of them broke,
yeah,
that was it.
yeah,
So
and
when he's telling the story,
it was usually Harvey Korman
oh,
who
Harvey Korman was always laughing.
yeah,
He couldn't even do his role.
I know.
Oh my god, too funny. And
You
Tim Conway only died a few years ago,
I know.
like 19 or 20, something like that. I don't know which one.
I am telling you guys, if you haven't seen that, if there's any one episode of Care Burnett, other than maybe the one where she has the coat rod for the you
Oh,
know,
for the dress. That's the Gone with the Wind one, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
those were just great, great. But if you haven't ever seen it, please do yourself a favor. If you want a good belly laugh, you will laugh your butt off.
It's just silly stuff. It's just having fun. It's just having
Yeah,
fun. And she's still around. She's up there now. She's like 90,
yeah,
91 years old. She's still
and look,
kicking.
still looks good too.
Yeah, she
Looking good.
does. She
Yep,
does. And
good for
obviously
her.
Vicki Lawrence is still around. She's the younger one of the group.
Right. She had Mama's family there for a while.
Yes. Yes, she
Yeah.
did.
Right.
But too funny. Too
Did
funny.
you have one that just made you flash back to an iconic moment in TV land history that either just makes you laugh or something you'll never forget?
I mean, the show itself, Happy Days. I remember watching. It was one of my favorite shows. It went on for a long time. It was like 11 years or something like that. And I was younger too when that came out.
Sure, sure.
But I remember that TV show. But I don't think there's anything like one. I mean, I've watched all of the big TV shows when they were big and when they were going through
Their
their
heyday.
series of not being syndicated and not being reruns. Like you put TV Land on now and you could watch, like the old Dick Van Dyke Show or something,
Yeah.
or watch the Newhart Show or whatever. But a lot of those shows you and I watched when they were on.
Right.
But there wasn't anything really particular. Like I said, I remember the MASH finale. Um, Happy Days. Happy Days. The finale was kind of like when who do you call got married, and he was, but that
Richie?
show went on for like 10 or 11 years. And oddly enough, that this scene here, which anybody that knows that show knows what this is. This is
Right.
Fonzie's going to jump the shark. That was that episode, and it developed almost like an urban
Life
legend
a life of its own.
because
This
it was
yeah.
always blamed for crashing. Like they use that term as you're done.
Yeah.
Like if they were to say, like, think of a show right now, Breaking Bad. Okay. So if they go to Breaking Bad and they're like, we're going to do another season. I don't know, guys. I think you guys have jumped the shark. So let's just
Yeah.
figure out how to make this season good and we'll end it. But it was so false. That was not the case for Happy Days. When that show aired, that episode was huge and did
Yeah.
amazing viewership. And the series went on for 6 years after that episode.
Right.
So it wasn't like that show. That episode is what killed that show. A time just killed that show. I mean, it was really that simple.
Well,
they were going. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. What kills me is I probably seen every episode of Happy Days
Oh yeah.
except the last one.
Oh really? You never saw the last one?
And I remember wanting to see the last one, and I had something going on. I don't know what it was, and I missed it. I've never seen it. And I remember them saying something about how Richie punched Fonzie. I've never gone back to watch it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard something about that.
I don't.
Because Richie got out of the army and he was now tough or something.
Yeah, I don't remember that happening though. I could be wrong. I mean, it's been a long time. I don't think I've seen it since then.
I'm gonna have to watch that. I gotta do that.
I mean, I know it was. I don't know. I know that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall that. I know the
I'll have
last
to
episode was Joni and Chachi got married.
Oh, I saw
And
that one.
and oddly enough, Ralph and Potsy were not in the finale.
Real well, they had their own spinoff where they had their
I
own
don't.
apartment.
I think so. I know Joni and Chachi did. I don't know about Ralph
Right,
and Potsy.
right.
But like I said, I think just time did that show in. I mean, it was around for 11 seasons. Started in what 72 ish, 74. I mean, you're talking going into the mid 80s.
Yeah,
They nobody really wanted to watch a show about the 50s.
right.
So it was just time.
Yeah,
Time for
but
the show,
you remember back then though, Tuesday night was like the night to sit down and watch TV because you
right?
had like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and
Yeah,
Mork and
Laverne and
Mindy,
Shirley,
you know.
and they were all spin-offs of each other.
Right.
Laverne and Shirley was a spin-off of Happy Days. Mork and Mindy was a spin-off of Happy Days. And
Gary Marshall was like just
ah,
rolling in the dough,
oh God, yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. He was definitely doing well. And then of course he did a few films for himself too. But there
Right.
wasn't one TV show moment that I was like, oh my God, that's Obviously you talk to some people depending on the series they watch way back when. Remember when they shot JR? I was never a Dallas fan,
Yeah,
but
me either.
that was huge around the media. Who
Yeah,
shot
but
JR?
who didn't hear? I didn't watch Dallas, you
No,
know. I knew Larry Hagman from I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie.
You know?
Exactly. He was
But
making Nelson.
everybody was wondering who shot JR. I'm like,
Mhm.
I didn't watch the damn show, but who shot him?
And then there's the Bob Newhart show. Remember when Newhart had the one where I didn't watch this show. I maybe caught an episode here and there. But didn't he have the show where the guy was Doug, and Doug or something?
Yeah.
It was like three Dougs or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
This is
then
my brother.
the series finale to that one was he woke up with Suzanne Flechette, who was his wife in the Bob Newhart show.
Yes, yes. It
Early,
was
and
all a
I had
dream.
this weird dream, and it was like, so that you remember these things here and there.
And
But then
you
was
know
that
what's funny? You know what's funny is so I'm sitting down having breakfast this morning and Deb turns on the TV real quick and there's this crossword puzzle show on, right? Never seen it before in my life. I
okay?
don't watch a lot of daytime TV.
Yeah.
Uh Trying to think of the girl's name from King of Queens who played
Oh yeah. The wife.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was the host. Anyhow, one of the questions for one of the answers was um that exactly who had the dream of
Oh,
being,
was that was it really?
the whole show was a dream,
Yeah.
you know. That, funny enough, you say
Bob
that when you
Newhart.
bring
Yeah. But like I said, I never saw all of their shows. It's just like Taxi. Like Taxi, I've seen maybe I don't know. I don't even know how many shows they did, but if they did, 50 shows, I might have seen 15. It wasn't
okay,
like I watched it every single week.
okay, let me stop you. I didn't watch it all the time. I watched most of every. I mean, Danny DeVito,
Yep.
Judd Hirsch,
Yep.
uh, you know,
Kevin
Christopher,
Conway, Tony Danza,
yeah, Christopher
Mary Lou
Lloyd,
Henner.
yeah,
Then
but
later on with Andy Kaufman and
right.
it was I mean it was I watched a decent amount of them, but like you were saying, did something stick in your head from
This,
watching TV shows?
if there is a and a B or a one and a two with Carol Burnett and Tim Conway, this Taxi episode sticks in my mind, and I can think of it, and I will start laughing. And this is a scene. I'll set it up for you. Jim Mignatowski, who's sitting down in the jean jacket.
Who is Doc Brown from Back to the Future?
Right, and was it Kevin Conway, right?
Kevin Conway's
Um,
long hair.
yeah, and then Judd Hirsch, Tony Danza, and what's her name? Mary Lou Henner.
Mary Lou Henner.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't remember all their names. So anyway, Jim goes to the DMV to take his taxi driver's license test. And YouTube it. I cry every time I watch it. I laugh so hard. I'm telling you, I would replay it for you. It would do it no justice.
No, it wouldn't.
It
It
just
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
Matter of fact,
Because
I have a good funny story about that. Is that when my daughter was studying for her driver's test, She came across the question. She's asking all these questions. What is this? Octagon sign, red, da, da, da. Then yellow light comes up. What is what is now I'm sitting next to Gina. What does the yellow light mean? So Gina's like, well, you want to slow down before it turns red. So I just go, slow down. And Sophia looks at me. So I said it back to her. And then I told her about it. And I said, you got to watch it on YouTube because it's 10 times funnier the way it really happened.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So to set it up, like Rick was saying,
I wish we could play it because
he asks
you.
he asks questions on the test to his friends that are sitting there. So he says to Kevin Conway, he's like, what, and Jim had that, what does yellow light mean?
Tony, that's perfect. I love it.
Kevin looks over and like doesn't want to get caught cheating. He goes, slow down. So Jim's like, what does the yellow light mean? Kevin Conway looks at him and goes, slow down. And this obviously goes on so Jim is like, what? And it just keeps going. And I'm sorry, I know it's stupid. Most of the time, something that funny is stupid. But it goes to show you how like something that's simple that you're writing down and something that, slow down. And he takes it literal. He thinks he's telling him to slow down and asking the question. And he's, it's great. It's true. And a story about my daughter, though, when I said it to her and I put it on for her, she was dying laughing. And she's, 17 years old. So
right. I'm telling you, if you're ever in a rotten mood, having a shit day, watch that one or Tim Conway and Burnett with the Siamese elephant. It will change your whole perspective of the day.
Yeah, but even the Carol Burnett show, I mean, the Siamese elephant is definitely a C, but you could just pick an episode. There's always an episode on there where they're laughing and it's just it's dumb humor.
Right.
It's just fun. It's just fun stuff. It's nothing crazy. It's not deep. It's not. Those shows were on for, like I said, for 10 years for a reason.
Sure.
You had and.
I love your Christopher Lloyd impression. That's spot on. I love your Christopher Lloyd. It is spot on, Tony.
I was trying.
You did a great job.
I didn't know how it was going to come out. I was afraid to actually do it. I had the hair. He's like, oh. What?
Oh my God. I'm picturing it in my head.
I know, but like the fifth time, he's like, oh, what? He was so mad. Oh man. And Danny DeVito was up in that little booth all the time, coming yelling at everybody. That was a funny show. Good show.
And what's kind of cool about these older shows like MASH and going back, if you ever sat down and you kind of watch the extras come through, boy, you can see some big names who have not been even
found or discovered or anything yet. No, you're right.
I'm trying to hold it together.
What does?
Oh yeah, I just remember seeing some big names on MASH and Taxi. They're just extras, and then later on in life, they're
bigger. Oh well, then look at when you get later on in the a little later than the 70s. You had Cheers, where that's the original group of Cheers right there.
Right.
I know everybody probably thinks of Woody Harrelson, but Woody Harrelson to the older gentleman there on the left, Coach was the bartender. And that gentleman died in real life, and they replaced him with Woody Harrelson. And then Shelley Long, who was next to Ted Danson, wound up leaving the show, and they replaced her with Kirstie Alley.
Right.
But on that show, I mean, you don't see Fraser Crane on there. You don't see him and the girl that he was with all the time, and she.
Oh yeah, Bebe Neuwirth. Yeah,
Bebe Neuwirth, and she's done stuff. And like you say, you just see somebody coming in and out, and they have. I mean, the whole series took place in the bar.
Right, and there were two pretty, like you just said, 2 pretty good iconic moments in that TV series was
Yeah.
when I mean, I was a diehard Cheers watch
Uh-huh.
fan, and, when Coach died, that was a
Yeah.
pretty big iconic moment in TV
Yeah.
history, and when Diane Shelley Long left the series, another one of those must-watch TV
Yeah.
on Thursday night where, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen?" You
Yeah.
know?
And there's
And
always that thing that happens like that. I mean, I remember watching Charlie's Angels, and Farrah Fawcett decided to leave, and everybody thought the show was going to just fold up and die because
right.
Farrah at the time was the biggest thing since sliced bread. I mean, he couldn't
Oh, yeah.
go, she was
Sure.
just everywhere, and they replaced her with Cheryl Ladd and so forth, and
Mhm.
kept going. But
Mhm.
and same thing with like other shows that somebody leaves. I mean, in ER, George Clooney wound up leaving, and somebody else came in and different job, and it happens. I mean, you can't they can't go on forever. I mean, they're eventually going to be to dwindle down to not be as good as they were. And you want to be
Right.
like, Seinfeld. They've asked Jerry all the time, why'd you leave? You were at the top of the game. You were the number one show for the last 5, 6, whatever it was years. The show ran for 9 years. And that's what he says. He goes, I didn't want to be spoken about like, wow, they should have wrapped up that show 3 years ago. So, and the writers sometimes, things aren't as funny anymore, or things aren't as taken, the way they should be. But they eventually change, and then they say, okay, let's just end it on a high note.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't go on forever.
Like a Hall of Fame quarterback, go out when you win the
Yeah,
Super Bowl and be done with it,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
If
And then, of course, later on, once TV's so different now, where now there's series that are created for Netflix and series that are created for YouTube, so you could always watch them and pause them, and But I I like that, but I also liked the, hey, Thursday night, tomorrow's Thursday, so and so's
Yeah.
on, and you get
Just the
excited about seeing the
anticipation
next
of it.
episode.
It was the anticipation. I
Yeah,
remember I remember being little, and it was Tuesday night, and Cub Scouts was just getting over with, and, "I gotta hurry up and get home so I can watch Happy Days,"
Happy
and
Days, yep. Vernon and Shirley, more community, like I said. Then
yeah.
remember there's Fantasy Island and Love Boat, and
Mm.
it was all those. I mean, TV was everything. It was very different than it is now,
Right.
because there was no other outlet. There was nothing, there
Right.
wasn't anything else. Now, of course, once HBO started The Sopranos and became very successful, probably and arguably the greatest TV show, but then, oh, well, we could put a TV show on HBO, we could put a TV show on Showtime, we could put
Yeah.
a TV series on Netflix, we could do, and they're doing very well.
Sure.
Um, but it's you know, I mean, it's hard to beat the old classics. I mean, they are what they
Well,
are.
like, I come up to, into the 2 or mid-90s into the 2000s was, on, again, Thursday night, and I think NBC, Channel 3 at the time, or NBC, whatever, um, kinda had, like, the monopoly on the sitcoms for a while there,
Yeah,
because it was, there was, Friends that ran 10 years, and I know you didn't watch Friends, but
right.
we were diehard
But
Friends
trust me, I'm
watchers,
in the minority. There's millions of fans. I mean,
and it's like the world came to a stop when it was the Friends last episode. It
yeah,
was one of those iconic moments. But Thursday night, it was Friends and Mad About You, and then Seinfeld. You know, it was one after the other after
yeah,
the other. They were just hits. They were classics.
yeah.
It's
And it's funny
hard.
because NBC had the comedies, and it seemed like CBS had like the dramas. It's like
Right,
that's when CBS had like CSI and JAG and some of the other, crime shows or
right,
crime dramas. But yeah, the comedies. I mean, NBC was definitely the comedy show.
right. And ABC had that niche in the 70's and 80's. They,
Yeah,
with the Happy Days and
yeah,
so on and so forth. They had the comedies, and
yep.
poor Channel 5, they just can't figure it out.
Where I was from. Channel 5 was Fox, and
Oh,
Fox
well, CBS then. Let's
and
go with CBS.
CBS is Channel 2 where I was from.
Okay.
But yeah, CBS. The only thing on CBS that I remember vividly when I was younger was Magnum. I was a huge Magnum PI fan.
Okay.
And they had that on CBS, and then CSI came on later, which was like in the mid '90s, I think, or late '90s.
Okay.
I loved CSI, the original one. I
Yeah.
never really watched any of the Fox TV shows because they were more so. There was either the adult cartoons or it was like the just the stupid comedies, like the Malcolm in the Middle and the
Mhm.
things along those lines. And I just never got into those. I didn't care about those, so I never
Yeah.
watched any Fox shows.
I did The Simpsons for a little bit.
God, that show's
Now
been
it's
on
kind of
forever.
yeah. Now it's kind of ironic to see like everyone's trying to make the correlations between The Simpsons and how they predict the future.
I saw something about that. I don't know. That's that's a whole TV show in itself.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities out there with The Simpsons and
Crazy,
what has taken place. So I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say it isn't, but
right?
you know,
Look at it for yourself.
Maybe Matt Groening's an alien. Who knows?
And then they had that show's been on since the what 93,
Yeah, what was that?
92?
Tracy. Oh, what the hell was her name?
And when there's Bart.
No, no, no. It was an actual comedy show or whatever.
Oh no,
And
like I said, I didn't watch Fox shows. And
well, The Simpsons were like just a small clip in that Tracy Ullman.
so it was a spinoff of that show. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
so the
Okay,
Tracy Ullman show was its own, like, let's say, half-hour comedy
okay,
variety type show,
okay,
and part of it was this little clip with The Simpsons, and
gotcha.
way back then, you saw how crude and elementary the drawings were, you know,
Right.
and they kinda just got a life of their own, and that's when it became, you know, The Simpsons on its own, standalone.
Yeah, like I said, they've been on since like 90, something like that. I mean, they've been
Yeah,
on a
they're
long. That's insane. That cartoon has been on for 33 years.
that's okay. Didn't I hear that they were the longest running show?
I I mean, with the exception of some soap operas, I would agree with you. Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
soap operas that have been on
Oh, well,
that
yeah.
my grandmother's been watching, Days of Our Lives or whatever, General Hospital. They've been on
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I would think it is the longest. I mean, I don't know of a show that's gone that long, with the exception of like some of like the Tonight Show and stuff. I mean, the Tonight Show's been around since the 50s with
Yeah,
different hosts.
yeah,
But I mean, Johnny Carson was the most well known for it, but before him was Jack Parr in the
true.
50s.
Right.
But 30 something years, 89, 90, 33, 34 years, that's a long time, man. And you're coming across all those different decades and still being still shown. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But now,
Oh,
yeah, now you can watch TV anytime you want. You go on YouTube, watch these shows, look them up. Some of them are corny, some of them are funny, some of them are very dated. It really depends on what you're watching and just take it for what it is. Some of the shows, you do have to watch the series to understand. Some of them you could just watch, like the Carol Burnett show. You could just watch one or two, and it doesn't matter.
yeah,
You don't have to watch it from the beginning.
it's like a 5 or 10-minute skit, and then,
Yeah.
wear your Depends because you'll pee your pants.
That's a good time. What happens when you get up there?
I'm telling you, Tony, that was a perfect Jim Ignatowski. I love it.
I didn't know I could even do it like that. I was like,
I love it.
I didn't
I'm
want
gonna
to
go
do his
back
voice.
and I'm gonna go back and watch that skit again tonight from Taxi, because that
I know.
just
I wish we
kills
could
me.
put them on. Like I said, as soon as we add video, though, we get copyrighted, and
Oh,
I don't
that's
feel like
too
dealing
bad.
with that nonsense. So
'Cause
it is what it is.
when
But
you
yeah,
can when you could share something that is that entertaining,
yeah,
and it's
I
that
know.
old. My
I
God.
know. I agree. I agree. But yeah, go to YouTube, look it up, watch it, check it out, leave some comments maybe about some shows we didn't talk about. I'm sure there's a
Absolutely.
ton that we missed.
Yeah,
You
what was
know,
your what was your favorite you know, people who are watching iconic moments in TV land whether it be one of your famous or favorite skits that makes you just belly laugh, pee your pants funny, or something that was just so profound, like the last episode of MASH.
Yeah.
Tell us yours.
Yeah.
We tell you ours,
Yeah, I know. I know. Share.
whether
Type
you
at
want
the
to hear
bottom
it or
there.
not.
Exactly. So, all righty, my friend. Until next week, we'll see everybody.
You
Thanks for
got it.
watching as always. Appreciate you. Hope
Yes.
you enjoyed it. And leave some comments. We tell you all the time, leave comments. You
I
don't do
know. I want to hear what your favorites were.
it. All right. I'll see you next week.
You got it, buddy.